Dzień dobry, cześć, hello. The following is a podcast with myself, our co-host Phil, and our first guest onto the show, JT. JT runs a YouTube channel called Vigo's Dad, which we're going to leave a link in the description below. JT is also someone that's really interested in Poland, so really it's just a podcast with three people who are very interested in Poland. So because this is our first guest and we're still trying to figure things out, there may be some audio issues within the podcast. The audio levels may not be perfect, but we're working on bettering the podcast, so in the future this shouldn't be too much of an issue, so I apologize in advance. So anyways, guys, enjoy the show.
Boom!
Boom! That kind of worked.
What's up, people?
All right, what's up, guys?
How you doing, Trev?
How are you doing?
I'm good. We got somebody sitting here on our call over
who
here
is this
in the
guy?
other window.
Who is this?
Hey guys,
up,
how you
man?
doing? I'm sitting in the Polskast.
Yeah, so I don't know what episode we're on now, but
I think it's 8. I think we're on episode 8.
I know when Trev and I came up with the idea for this podcast, I started making a list of what kind of topics I would like to talk about on this podcast, and right near the top of the list was we need to get Vigo's dad on this podcast. That was
So first guest, dude.
First guest. So welcome to you're the first guest on the podcast.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
So you're in England right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in London. I love how we are pretending that we have not done this before. Guys, we recorded this already one time. It was so long. We got along so well the first time that we spoke for like 2 hours. And then Trevor was like, "We cannot edit this."
You're breaking the fourth wall now.
Yeah. You can't tell us that. This is the first time we've all met.
Yeah, it's the first time. Yeah.
So for those people who don't know, why don't you give a little quick introduction of yourself?
Oh yeah, well guys, my name is JT. I run a YouTube channel called Vigo's Dad. It's because my son's name is Vigo, and I am his dad, I guess. Right? So yeah, and it's not for all the Polish viewers. It's not bigos as in the food. I get so many comments. Like, oh my god, I got so many comments. Like, you know that you sound like Vigo's dad for us Polish people. And I'm like, I think I'm aware. So yeah. I started the YouTube channel around a year ago. By now, like a year and a month or so. I guess in the middle of the pandemic, I had a lot of free time. I was working from home, and my wife one night said, "Hey, maybe you should," because I was doing a little bit of recording YouTube stuff many years ago, and she was like, "Maybe you can do some of that. You know, because it's older, we can capture that on film, and maybe it will be fun." And I said, "Hey, I'll give it a try." Here we are a year later, and new friends.
See, all the best ideas come from Polish women, right?
Oh my God! Don't tell them that. They don't need more encouragement.
So how long have you been with your wife?
So Carolina is my wife. She's a Polish kobieta. We've been together for almost 8 years now. On the what day is today? I don't have a. Yeah. Oh my God! I thought maybe today's our anniversary. We have 5 days. We're gonna be 8 years married. We've known each other for a long, long time before. So yeah.
So you guys got married in Poland, right?
We did. We got married in Poland, and it's Phil. You are married to a Polish woman, and Polish weddings are the best.
How'd you guys meet? How'd you guys meet?
So we met in Madrid. Back in 2004, I went there for a year to do a master's degree. And when I was literally almost finishing my degree, literally, I was moving 2 days. In 2 days, I was moving back to the Dominican Republic. So I was meeting a friend in Spain, in Madrid, for a night out. And her friend and her were walking by. I saw a guy that, to me, seemed like he was bothering them or something. And I just came in like a superhero trying to pretend that I was their friend. And to my surprise, they caught on pretty fast on what I was trying to do. So I said, "Oh, how you girls doing? You are late." And I remember Carolina said, "Oh yeah, sorry that we're late." It even surprised me that she got in the joke so fast. And I, said to the guy, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I'm with them." And that's it. We exchanged numbers. I moved back to Dominican Republic, and somehow in the magic of the internet and social media, we remain in contact.
That's cool.
Yeah, but we were not in a relationship since then. She was doing her thing, I was doing my thing, and in 2011, we happened to both be single again, and we just started chatting one night after she came back from some, the move car or something, uh, and we started chatting, and one day turned into the next, into the next, into the next, until I decided to visit her like 6 months later, and that's how it started.
Nice.
So you visited her in Poland or in Madrid?
Yeah, she was already, because she was in Madrid for like a couple of weeks. I was already in. Yeah, I went back to Dominican Republic. They went back to Spain again, but at the time that we reconnected, I was in Dominican Republic, and I said, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come pay you a visit. She was living in Warsaw, and she was like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, I will just come over," and I did. And yeah, it was great. It was also ballsy. Can we say ballsy on this podcast?
Sure, man. Whatever you want to say.
Oh, it's too inappropriate, man. It's a bad word.
It was really ballsy on her part. I mean, Polish people are courageous, because she opened her doors to a stranger from Dominican Republic, and I don't know. I always tell her, what if I would have turned out to be a weirdo? And she's like, your ass would have been on the streets. That's it.
It's the Polish hospitality. They have no choice, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
So that was your first trip to Poland, right? When you met her?
Yeah, my first trip to Poland. I was living in Europe for in total for like 5 years or something like that, and I visited the stereotypical European countries that at least us Latinos are encouraged to visit, which is Italy, Spain, and I mean, I guess I knew something about Poland, but not really. And then when she and I started talking, I started, Googling, and I will never forget the first time that I stepped foot on the country. It was March, and I was so surprised. I was really surprised. The country surprised me a lot, positively.
Which cities did you see on that first trip?
Yeah.
On that first trip, I went to Warsaw, which is where she was living. Then I remember that we went to Łódź, which is her family is from a place very near Łódź. So to Łódź, and then we went to Kraków. We went to Kraków, and then we drove from Kraków all the way to Łódź and Warsaw. So I saw some cities along the way. Yeah. Very interesting, super interesting. That trip changed my life, man. I seriously fell in love with that country.
Yeah, I think all of us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's just life.
Yeah, I mean, you guys. I don't know if you guys spoke about this before, but I would like to know a little bit, like, how was your first impressions? Because it's Poland is it's different, right, for us, that we don't.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I think we all had similar experiences in that. I mean, the only thing I really knew about Poland before I went there was what we learned about in school. And the only thing you really learned about Poland in school is World War II, right? Yeah. So all you hear is it was just this country that was completely destroyed during the war.
Don't know anything modern day.
Right. We don't hear anything since then. And so you get there and you're like, wow, this is an amazing place. This is an amazing, it's like, for something I've never heard of, I don't know why more people don't know about this and don't visit this place, It was very surprising for me.
Yeah. And for me, it was the first time I ever went to Europe, too. So it was like mesmerizing,
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. That was my first trip to Europe in general.
Mm-hmm. And what did you, because I remember the first time that I went to Europe, for people that don't know, Dominican Republic is this country that we share an island with Haiti, right? It's called the Hispaniola Island. So we are actually next to Cuba, and between Cuba and Puerto Rico, very close to the States. So we, because of the proximity to the States, we are very influenced by the United States in pop culture, economy, and all those things. And so before I went to study to Madrid the first time, all my experience, any experience that I had traveling abroad was to the States or Puerto Rico, or So I remember when I stepped foot in Madrid, and I was so surprised because you see all the architecture is so different.
Yeah. I almost had the reverse experience as you, because the only places I had to travel to before I went to Europe was I had been to a bunch of islands in the Caribbean. Right? I had been to Bahamas, I had been to St. Thomas. Right, so that was my experience of foreign travel. to that point. And then I got I think I mentioned this on our first podcast maybe. When I first, you have an image of what Europe's supposed to look like, right? And it mostly, well, from what I learned in growing up, it mostly looked like old towns in Poland, right?
Okay.
Like Paris looks like that, Italy looks that, right? They have that classical architecture look,
Yeah.
And so you get to Warsaw, and I'm like, oh, this looks like a city, like a regular city. When you first, like from the airport into the town center, or whatever, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is not what I was expecting Europe to look like. Once we got down to Old Town, I'm like, okay, this is the look I was expecting.
Did you go to the Old Town on the first day?
Oh yeah, like we got there first thing in the morning. We flew overnight, and we stayed at the Marriott Hotel across the street from Warsaw Central. Mm-hmm. And we went in there and we're like, listen, we're hungry. Where should we go? And the person working at the hotel told us, go down to Old Town. You get plenty of food and drink down there.
We went down there. You remember what you ate first?
I don't remember the food. I have a picture of me eating ice cream. I remember we got beer. We got a bunch of beers and
ice cream.
And ice cream.
What a great breakfast!
Right? I probably ate cutlets of Bova. I'm guessing that's the safe thing to try. To get when you first go there.
Yeah.
That's my guess, but I don't remember exactly.
Well, hey, how about you, Trev? What did you eat the first time? You remember?
Pierogies and beer. Pierogi beer.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the stuffing?
Meat. I think duck meat.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Really good.
Yeah. My first meal was actually pierogi babci. So it was Karina had some pierogi that her grandma made, and I was so looking forward to it because we've been chatting for 6 months or even more, and it was building up this pierogi in my head. It looked so delicious, and I landed some like in the afternoon. It was harsh because I flew from DR to Madrid. Then I had a layover Madrid to Barcelona. I stayed in Barcelona like 6 or 7 hours, and then I went to I think it was Switzerland, and I had a layover for like 8 hours there at the airport.
Wow!
Oh my God, man!
And then from there I went to Warsaw. So I was just destroyed. But Carolina handed me this plate of pierogi babci, and I was like, yes, it was so good.
Yeah, we went directly into the Old Town, and I was instantly just mesmerized by the architecture. Got food, beer. It's a good time.
Yeah. I don't know, what time of year was the first time you went? Yeah, JT, you said it was March, right?
March.
When was the first time you went?
Summer, I think July.
So it was September for me. So the weather was definitely warm, and everybody was sitting out in the redness and everything like that. I'm like, this is such a nice vibe sitting here. Everybody's sitting around having beers and eating, enjoying food, and just enjoying the day.
Yeah. I actually really like the fact that it was March, although I know Polish people are not, with the cold, but I like the cold. I don't like the heat. Right. So it was very interesting, and also it kind of like added to the fact that I was in Poland in a northern country. Once again, I had already lived in Spain, so I was used to the cold, but it's different. In Spain, you don't really have, like, even if it's cold. In Poland, people are like fully covered, and you can see that it's hardcore thing. The weather is different. Yeah. Although my viewers will tell me that now there's different weather than before. So don't worry.
Yeah. How do you like the winters in Poland? Like,
I mean, I've been disappointed by Polish winter because we have been there many times. For Christmas, we tried to do like 1 year in Dominican Republic, 1 year in Poland. And man, I've never had a white Christmas in Poland.
Yeah.
So I've been a little bit let down, and I'm always looking forward to this, minus 20 degrees, minus 25. And I think the coldest I've experienced it in Poland is like minus 12.
I think it's similar to, so where I grew up north of where I live now. And I think it's the same latitude as Poland. And very similar. When I was a kid, we had snow from maybe even Halloween, end of October until March, April, and it wasn't even a thought that you weren't going to have snow on Christmas, right? It was the guess was, are we going to have snow on Thanksgiving, right? But guaranteed you were having it on Christmas. And nowadays it's similar to like in Poland. It's a rare thing, it's more like, are we going to have a white Christmas? Are we not? More than often than not, you don't, right? So I think the weather in Poland has changed similarly to like where I grew up. Disappointing to see, but it is what it is. But I would say one thing about the cold is when I was watching your videos, this was one of the first times that I knew you really got Polish people, and I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. When you had your little comment about how the Polish people handled the cold, right? And they all act right. They all act like they're tough, or but then they put on so many clothes. They got this. And you said something like, if the tiniest bit of cold touches their skin, they're like, we're cool.
Dude, it's a real thing. I mean, they know how to live in cold. I mean, so that's a fact. Like my father-in-law used to wake up very early in the morning to deal with snow and all those things. The doors are shut because they are frozen. So they know how to live in cold. That they are very good at that. But I was very surprised for example, with Carolina, and then her parents and people around. It was like, if they are not covered well, they are not so resilient to actual cold. And we got, like, when I moved to the UK, that's when we noticed. Even Carolina was saying, these people are crazy. Like, if you guys have been to London or the UK in winter, you might have, let's say, 2 degrees, 3 degrees. You think that's nothing, but the humidity is so high that in the wind chill, it feels like -6, -7,
Right.
And I've never seen a Brit wearing more than 2 layers in the winter. Like, I'm not joking.
I think that's the same here where Phil and I live.
Yeah.
Right.
Carolina, when we moved here, we moved here in November, and that winter, I'm not kid you not, she was wearing. I remember she was wearing 4 or 5 layers of clothing, and still she was like, it's like the cold is going inside my bones. Toto jest, kurwa.
So I would say the only place, like, most of the time I go there, it's in the summer, and I was actually shocked about how hot it can get in Poland in the summer. But the one time I did experience cold was last time I was in Poland. We were in Krakow for Christmas and New Year's, and it definitely, once the sun went down, it was cold. You could even I could feel it. I'm like, I wear like gloves, and you have to do the thing where like you make your hands into a fist inside your gloves, right? Because when your fingers are separating, getting too cold. I bought my Trev's been asking me about it. I bought my Kapcie when I was there in Krakow, because I'm like, I needed something for my head. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Krakow can still be cold in the winter.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
I think I've spent more winters in Poland than summers.
Okay.
Are you guys the same?
I've definitely been more summers than winters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lucky.
I get to deal with the constant no air conditioning, right? I don't need super air conditioning like we have in America, but I like just a little breeze or something.
Yeah, a little something, right?
Oh my God. I suffer that so much because we lived in Austria, and it's similar thing, and they had like no air conditioning whatsoever. We had to buy one of those, portable ones that you have like a big hose and you put it out the window. Which we bought in Poland, and we still have, like, 8 years later, and it still works. But I think it's been pretty even for us in the times of the year that we were there, because when we were living in Austria, we would just drive to Poland. It would be like a 7-hour drive, between 6.5 or 8, and we would just go. So we would be visiting like every couple of months, or sometimes almost every month. Get in the car. We didn't have a kid, so it was just like, grab everything, let's go for the weekend. So
that drive was cool.
So everything.
It's
really cool.
Right? Yeah.
Very, very cool. Yeah, because Austria is a beautiful, beautiful country. Also, that terrain is very pretty. And then you go to Czech Republic, and then you go to Poland, and you have 2 routes. And sometimes I did the one going through the south. So you had to go through some of the mountains and stuff. That was actually very nice. Very nice. Poland is a beautiful country.
Can you hold up your water?
My water?
Yeah. Look at this, JT. No. Show us the label.
Oh.
Poland Spring.
Everything is Polish. Everything is Polish over here.
Hey, man, that's the way to go.
So, JT, I've got a Polish wife. You've got a Polish wife. Trev, he's not fully indoctrinated yet because he's only got a Polish girlfriend. He hasn't experienced the full Polishness yet.
Yeah.
So what kind of tips can you give him for having a Polish wife? What's the most important thing to remember?
They are never wrong. You're never right. No, you know what? I think obviously every person is different, but I think it's fair to say, right, guys, that there are some characteristics that are kind of like intrinsic to Polish people somehow, some way, that I think that they are. And I don't want to make a list of positives and negatives. I'm just going to say whatever comes out of my mind. I think they're very impatient people. So they don't have too much patience. And in a relationship, that's important, because if you know the level of patience of each the individuals, then you know where to meet.
Right.
So, for example, knowing and understanding that what they call patience, the threshold is very different. Carolina sold me the idea that she was a very patient person, and I remember talking. We're chatting as friends. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm actually very patient." I was like, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, actually, my family, I'm very patient." And then I met her, and she even said to me, "I thought I was patient until I met you. I realized I'm not. I'm not patient. I thought I was, because I could take time in making things with my hands and everything, and then no." So yeah, understand that they are impatient. So you have to check.
Yeah. So to add on to what JT's saying, we're going through that right now, right? So you take the combination of their impatience and their hospitality, right? So as you know, so right now I'm sitting in the new house that we just moved into, right? And whenever you move into any place new, it's going to be a disaster for at least a month or two, right? As you figure out where things go, this is a bigger place than we had before, so we need to buy new things. And this room I'm sitting in right now is completely empty. It's a guest room. It needs a bed in it. So this combination.
Is this a room? Can Trev and I come and stay there?
Sure, man. You guys are welcome anytime. Yeah.
We don't put a Polish flag in that room. We're not coming.
It'll be here soon enough. But this combination of, right, so my wife has a new house, and she has this great desire to invite everybody over to cook for them and show them what their new house is like, but the house isn't ready yet. So it's every day, it's constantly like, we need to go buy this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And I'm like, we can only do so many projects at a time. You need to calm
I think you guys could have like a lecture. At this point, right?
Yeah, they are impatient, but at the same time, I think we all know that they are very loyal. So that's like something great. That's really, really great. And on a wife, on a partner, life partner that you're gonna have, loyalty is so important.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's not loyalty as in, she's not gonna cheat on me or whatever. I'm not talking about that loyalty, which is important. I'm talking about the loyalty that, let's say that if you are gonna, like, how can I explain this? It's like they have your back. You know what I mean? Like you are the family. You're family. So they're going to sometimes they're not going to trash you, because my wife doesn't trash me with anyone, but she can have a little troll joke or something on my expense, and that's how I know that the loyalty is really there. You know what I mean? Like, they don't sugarcoat things, but don't dare to talk about also, because hey.
But it's like,
you guys should have a course on Polish. Well, I really believe that.
but it's like what JT's saying. I'm sure with his channel, right? It was his idea. She was pushing him into doing it, right? Now along the she's got his back the entire time, but she's going to tell him what he's doing wrong the entire time and comment on every little thing he does. But she has his back.
Did she come up with ideas, like video ideas and stuff?
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix of things. I have a list of topics, but Karen is a writer, so she really she's really good at coming. All the videos that we are together, usually they're not scripted, and I would say that the videos that we are together, 70% it's either her idea or her bullet points. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's why the videos that we're together are the smartest, because she's the one that put them together.
But she's she's very similar to my wife too, and that she's very quick. Like, you can have a conversation and they can come up with things on the fly very quickly and react very quickly, right? It's good for making videos without a script and anything like that.
You cannot cheat a poll. Like you cannot. You have to be quick with Polish people. I think you know what I mean. Like, and I noticed that not only on friends and family, but now that I have my channel, you see on the comments the level of what the comments are about. You know what I mean? It's a little bit beyond your typical YouTube blabber. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes people are telling me, like very recently, I made a video and I mentioned something about Nazi concentration camp in Dominican Republic, in Latin America. I believe when you learn about Nazis, you know that Nazis are the Germans. So whenever you say Nazis, it's the Germans. And dude, it's like the amount of people that have come to, and very politely, but to tell me, no, it's not Nazis are the Germans. You have to say the Germans, and they give you the whole, like historical reason why.
Right.
And that, we don't do that. Latinos are more like, yeah. Okay. I'm not saying we're dumb, you know what I mean? But they're deep, they're quick.
They a lot of them know the reasons for things, the sources for things. Like I know plenty of times on our podcast, Trev and I have simply said, I don't know, what's the origin of this? Like we were talking about Schmingus Dingus last time or 2 times ago or whatever. And we said to them, what's the origin of this? And we got plenty of comments.
JT, do you think there's any Latino characteristics in Polish culture?
Yes. Respect for family is very big. Respect for family and how everything runs around family is a huge thing. It was a very big surprise for me. How, and for my family, you know what I mean? Like my mom, she's visited Poland several times, and my in-laws have gone to Dominican Republic. And yes, once you are past the obvious differences, we all agree that it's like, oh, somehow we can speak the same code. We don't speak the same language, but we speak the same code, if that makes sense. Like a computer that one is talking Japanese, the other one is speaking, I don't know, writing in French, but they're all zeros and ones, right?
Right.
So it's like a little bit like that. And I think has to do with the level of respect and commitment towards family.
People ask us. People ask me a lot of times what I like so much about Poland, and one of the answers I give, I'm like, well, they're very similar to. I grew up. My dad's Irish, my mom's Italian, but I mostly grew up with my mom's side of the family, right? And her parents are the immigrants, right? So I knew people, from Europe, and I said, well, Polish families are very similar to Italian families, and they're like, how so? That doesn't make any sense, right? And I'm like, no, the importance of family and spending time in big groups of family, eating meals and telling stories and, just spending time together and helping each other out, helping other family members out. And I'm like, it's very similar to Italians from Italy, and then people are like, okay, yes, I understand. I get that now.
Do you think there's any like main characteristics from American families that are similar with like Polish ones or anything like that, or just
what are the characteristics of Americans?
That's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, like I was thinking about that if we could somehow relate it to that. But
the thing is that you guys are so mixed, right? Like America is such a, like when people. This is something that I've learned, but like sometimes I explain to Europeans, and I'm here, waving the American flag that no one gave me, but because I feel that I understand Americans so much more, I always tell, and I've always told this to all my European friends whenever we talk about it. They always say, yeah, because Americans this or Americans that. And I always say, guys, you have to understand that Americans are extremely diverse group of people. Like, and you say, oh, Americans are loud. Dude, not, you know what I mean? That it depends. Where are they from? Or Americans eat so much. Also depends where are they from. Can be a culture thing, but America is humongous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to generalize. That's for sure.
It's one of those, even I get surprised when I go to like, so I grew up in this, I live in a certain area, right? And there's certain type of people here. It's very diverse here, but I feel like there's a certain Americans who just don't live here, right? I live on the East Coast or whatever, right? Yeah. And I get surprised when I go to like Disney World, somewhere where everybody in America goes to. Yeah. And I look around and I'm like, look at all these, this is weird. This is strange. I'm like, I'm not used to seeing these kind of Americans on a daily basis. Right?
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that must be a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's like it definitely, it's like, I'm in America, but this is not the America I'm used to, I guess is the best way to put it. Like you said, America is a huge country. It's very diverse. It's very, you even in the state that I live in, you can drive an hour in one direction and the landscape completely changes. Right.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
you have like right now, I moved about an hour east or hour west of where I was living. And it took us a good couple of weeks to get used to living out here because it's very different than living where we were living.
Well, if I can encourage one of you or both of you to make like some sort of episode regarding like how different America is depending where you're from,
Right.
because I cannot talk about that because I'm not American, but I don't think we or Polish people or Latinos can understand that. Because, okay, Latinos are this group, right? So you know that I'm Latino, I'm Dominican. If you say Peruvian is also Latino, but we know that there is a very big difference in nationalities. You know what I mean? Like we know we are joined by this, Latino thing, but we are not the same. One is the same, and I think Polish people also know. The Polish people are so Polish that, like Carolina says, like with very very few exceptions, you can go to any corner of Poland, and people speak even with the same accent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was also very eye opening to me because that doesn't really happen in many places of the world.
No.
And she was like, yeah, I cannot tell you someone is from Wrocław or from Warsaw, just on their accent, So we don't understand that in America you can have such variety inside your home.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of the, like I said, I've been living here for 3 weeks now, and I think that's definitely one of the videos I'm going to work on is how life is different out here compared to where I live. Simply moving an hour. Like I said, there's of course there's the staples of America, right? I know where the McDonald's is. I know where where the Walmart is, right? Those are things you can find everywhere.
Yeah.
But
you're
just
looking already for those.
It's funny. This is a little known fact. So the McDonald's next to where I was living is such a garbage place, right? Like McDonald's in America are like trash compared to McDonald's in London or McDonald's in Warsaw, right? Like,
you're a McDonald's connoisseur, aren't you, Phil?
Not. So when my wife moved here, she was like, "Oh, I want to try McDonald's," right? Because that's what you do when you come to America, And I said, "Listen, we're not going to go to that McDonald's because it's really bad, And so as a result, she's never eaten McDonald's since she's moved here, 10 years.
Still.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My daughter has never had McDonald's. Right.
That is like a Nobel Prize.
So we when we came out to this house, the day we were moving into this house, right? It was like a lot of driving around because we were selling our house, driving to the lawyer's office, driving out here, driving back. And we had our daughter with us the entire time, and she started to get hungry. And the only place we knew around here at that point was the McDonald's, because there's a McDonald's down there. My wife's like, whatever, I'm going to get her some McDonald's,
Yeah.
So we came up here. The people who were selling the house were still here when we got here. They were packing up the last of their things before they left. And the woman said, she's like, oh, my wife said to my daughter, she's like, she got chicken nuggets or something. She's like, how are the chicken nuggets, right? My daughter's like, they're okay. And the neighbor says, she's like, oh, McDonald's food is always good, right? And then my wife said to her, this is her first time ever eating McDonald's. And like the look on both of their faces.
It was like being impressed.
Right? It was you and Trev a couple minutes ago, I'm like, I don't know. This is just how it's worked out, I'm like, I think in general, I eat out a lot less now. To bring it back to Polish stuff, I eat out less now because my wife is such a good cook. And when I go out, I'm like, well, the food is not as good. It costs me more money, and I'm like, and I gotta sit around all these people. I'd rather just be sitting in my house eating a home cooked meal.
Yeah, but
my girlfriend,
Polish people really respect eating at home. So
yeah,
what happened with your girlfriend? I want to know.
My girlfriend, she had to try the McDonald's here, and like once she tried it, she was like, "Oh, this sucks." Like I know what you're talking about.
Right.
It's just not good compared to in Poland, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you, both of you guys. What is the most American thing each of you have? Either a trait or what, you know what I mean? If you think about like that, this thing is what makes me, you know.
Guns?
What?
Do you,
Guns?
You have many guns? I'm
Yeah.
talking like you.
What do you mean?
do you have a gun? That's what he's asking.
You have guns.
My whole family does.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you guys are into the whether it's
Yeah, they
okay.
are mostly.
Okay, I get it. Okay, that's pretty American though.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't know if it gets more American than that.
I think so. I think for me, and I've learned this through talking to you, JT, through the past couple of weeks, is the most American thing to me is me bragging about how big things are. Right? like I have this big piece of land that I live in now. I was
Please
saying
put
to you,
context. You're not telling us how big everything you have is, please. So, guys,
but we were joking about how big a piece of land I have the other day. I was saying about how I have a big PL sticker on my car, right? For some reason, when it comes to bragging about how big material things are, we'll say that's the other thing is material things, right? That's probably where the American
specialty, right?
Yeah, sticks out.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, we roast you a little bit, but I don't Trev, but I don't feel like that, like we say that for fun, but I don't feel like you are bragging, you know what I mean? Like I really don't. I'm roasting you a little bit. I don't really think you're bragging,
Like I know, like I think Trev, that you were the same way. My wife says to me all the time especially when she met me, she's like, "You just don't act American. You're not the American that I was expecting." Right? And I think so. Sometimes it's hard to identify. I think I expected Europe to see what I saw on TV, right? She probably expected what she expects to see on TV from Americans, right? Yeah. And as I covered in our first episode, the only American show I saw over there was Jersey Shore, right? And she knew I lived in New Jersey, right? So she was probably expecting something completely different.
High quality culture, right?
Right.
Their expectations were.
I think
they have Warsaw Shore, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Warsaw Shore. Yeah. It's by MTV and it's the same exact format as the one here. It's
and it
really
has to
cringy.
Be Warsaw for sure. It has to be from Warsaw. That's something interesting because in the span of this 8 years that we've been together, 9 years, as we go and visit in Warsaw, we have seen how Warsaw has changed, even in just 9 years, and it's gotten more cosmopolitan and more. I don't want to use the word Western, but let's use it for this example. And you see more cool things that are happening and events and cultural stuff, but also you see a little bit of this Instagram look on some people.
Mm-hmm.
So and I keep hearing more and more this Warszawka, like the people from Warsaw, you know what I mean? And it has this particular thing. Maybe the viewers can correct me, but that's kind of what I.
The last time I was in Warsaw, I just remember they were building so many different skyscrapers. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Just construction everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. What year was the first time you were there, JT?
2012.
Okay, so you've definitely seen some changes in the years since back then as well. I guess the stadium was up at that point.
I think it was already there. They were building. When in Warsaw where you have the Palace of Culture, they were still building one of the lines, the metro line. So everything there was all destroyed. So now they have 2 metro lines. I think when I was there, they only had 1 the first time. So a lot of changes.
Yeah, I think because the first time I think we covered this in the podcast. The first time I went was 2009. The stadium wasn't even there yet. Wow. So I've definitely seen, and all the highways leaving Warsaw have been upgraded tremendously. The train stations have been upgraded tremendously. It's been a lot of changes in just the 11 years that I've been going.
So when you guys go to Poland, where do you guys hang out? Which cities are you hanging about?
For me, it's Lublin.
Oh, it's not Lublin. It's Lublin.
It's Lublin.
No, say it with your
Lublin.
Russian accent. Your Russian accent. Lublin.
How would you even do it with the Russian
I
accent?
don't
Lublin?
know.
It'd probably be pretty similar.
Russian. They're
Yeah.
Lublin.
Dzień dobry. Lublin na imię Trevor.
No, I normally hang out in Białystok. So I hang out in the country compared to where all you guys hang out.
The meme city.
Yeah.
But Białystok is one of the largest cities in Poland, isn't it?
It's the largest city in Poland, definitely. It's like 300,000 people.
And what have you noticed different from from the very first times that you went to now?
Very similar to like what you see in Warsaw. It's constantly like it started in the center of town and it's expanding out from there every year. They're constantly renovating. Some great new apartment buildings are being built. In fact, we're going to Poland in a couple of weeks here, and we're going to stay in one of those and try them out. They have the new Jagiellonia building next to one of the malls, and so we're going to go stay there and try that out.
Yeah, it's the same situation in Lublin. Like just the growth of suburbs and all that.
Yeah. And what I love too is the wall art, the art they have on a lot of the buildings there that they allow people to paint it.
Yeah.
Like there's one.
Graffiti?
Yeah, but it's like sanctioned by the city, right?
Yeah. I know.
Like there's one in Białystok. I think it's their most famous one. There's like a little tree growing on the ground, and then on the building behind it, they have a picture of like a little girl watering the tree.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really neat. So every year we go there. I've been since my daughter, the first time she went to Białystok she was like a year and a half old, and she's 8 now. So every year we go there, we take a picture of her. With the tree's getting bigger and she's getting bigger, So it's.
Your daughter speaks Polish, right?
Yeah, she. Maybe we should get into our kids a little bit because that's an interesting topic. So because obviously Vigo's dad, means that there's a Vigo as well. I think similar to you, when she was born, my wife only spoke Polish to her. I only spoke English to her. So since at that time I wasn't working from home, I was going to an office. And as a result, she heard a lot more Polish, and she was speaking very good Polish at the beginning, to the point where even when she was speaking English, she had like a Polish accent. Once she started school, it's pretty much she just wants to speak English all the time because all her friends speak English. So this is very typical of maybe even all foreign kids, but I specifically see it with Polish kids here, where the parents are constantly speaking Polish to the kids, and the kids are constantly responding in English to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, kids are not dumb. They choose whatever language they can express their point across easier.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But it's actually interesting when we go to Poland. I think I've mentioned this to you once. She gets there and she starts speaking. She's speaking English when she's there, right? So they're like the first 2 days, I want to say, and she'll play with like the neighbors' kids and stuff like that. And like those kids find her fascinating because she knows English, and they're like, "Oh, how do you say this in English? How do you say this in English?" That's like the first 2 days, and then I would say like the third day she switches over to Polish, and then she's speaking Polish the entire time she's there, because eventually she figures out, okay, these kids don't really understand what I'm saying when I say something in English.
Yeah.
Right, and she's got to switch.
How old was she the last time that you were in Poland?
Last time she was 6.
So it's been like a couple of years, right?
Yeah, because we usually go every year, but we skipped last year, obviously, because of the pandemic.
It's going to be interesting how that developed, in 2 years.
Yeah, we're going to see how it goes next time.
So Trev, for example, obviously you being the younger in the lot here, the reservoir dog.
45. What are you talking
about? You are the younger
45
one.
months.
Yeah. You don't have kids, but for example, when you've been to Poland, in Lublin, I assume that do you speak English with your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay, and with her family, how does it work?
With her family, I speak Polish.
Hardcore, man. Respect.
Have to, right? How about you with your family?
Yeah, I try to speak Polish, especially with my mother-in-law. My father-in-law speaks English and speaks some Spanish, so he always wants to practice.
Okay.
So we speak English, but whenever I can, I try to go to Polish. I am not even close, to you guys' level. Um, I I really suck at memorizing things. I am more like a logic type of person, and with languages, to get out of the infamous A1 and A2 phase, you need to memorize. You need to learn vocabulary. You need to learn rules. And those 4 years that we lived in Austria, it was also I was working in Spanish and English in a German-speaking country with a new wife that was Polish and Spanish. So it was, yeah, I think it created a little bit of a clash for me.
Uh,
But English is
So
your second language, right?
yeah, English is my second language.
Dude,
So
you're fluent. I mean, same principles apply, right?
well, I'll try to speak a little bit of English the best way I can. I try, my friend.
so
No,
yeah,
but
so you actually have an interesting dynamic in your house. That there's three languages. There's one
Yeah.
more than in my house. How does that work with Vigo, for example?
yeah, it's interesting because of course Carolina speaks Polish like your wife exclusively to Vigo. I speak exclusively Spanish, but Carolina and I speak English and some Spanish.
Mhm.
And then he's living in an English-speaking country, so at the nursery they're speaking English. So his English is actually better than Spanish and Polish when it comes to speaking.
Yeah.
He has a little bit more vocabulary, but then he switches to whichever language. So if he's hanging out with mom only, immediately his Polish does this, and it's
Right.
incredible to see. Like it just switches tremendously.
Okay.
So yeah, but you can see that he's more comfortable with English because it's what he hears the most.
Does he
At
have
the
a British
nursery,
accent?
Yes.
Does he?
Does he?
Yes, he does. He does. He says, Papa, Papa, what? Because he speaks in mix sometimes with a mix of Spanish, Polish.
Yeah.
He about a sticker. He got a sticker from the doctor. He says to me, Papa, where's the sticker? And I'm like, you mean the sticker? He said, no, the sticker. Or, I want some water.
Water.
Yeah.
You okay, mate?
Okay, mate.
So do you read him like stories at night in multiple languages?
Yeah, of course we do. Look, we have this. This was not prep, by the way. Just laying all over the house. These books are for Vigo.
Mhm.
Not really. These are my Polish language. This is my level. Yes. Yeah, we do, and now he's about to be 3, so he like hit a milestone where he now understands that you're learning from the paragraph.
Okay.
He doesn't know, obviously he doesn't read, but he knows that whatever you're saying, it's coming from
Right.
those letters.
Mhm.
So sometimes I am grabbing a book that is in Polish,
Yeah.
and I try to, let me practice some Polish, and I start reading in Polish. He says, no, in Spanish, because he knows that Daddy speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
So I'm there making up stories or out of whatever it has
Yeah.
written in
Yeah.
Polish. It's very interesting, yeah.
Actually, I have a couple here. I'll show you. So I did do a little bit of homework. You see here. So this is my daughter's favorite book, right? Tupsho Hoopsho Nie Mogę Zasnąć. But we also have it because it was her favorite book. We also have it in English.
That's great.
Tip the mouse
prepared for this right now.
Tip the mouse can't sleep. Let's say, Trev, this is what it's like to be a parent. You're always prepared for every situation when it deals with your kids.
Like seriously, like parents are never like you always. If I show you the top of my bed right now, you're gonna be so surprised. Like because there are things that in the middle of the night when you're sleepy, you can just literally put your hand on top and grab whatever you need. You have an extra dummy. You have things for the throat. You have extra water. You have, you know what I mean? Like everything's there. It's like you're going to combat.
Yeah.
So
Hey, be ready, Trev. You have to be ready, Mo.
Yeah, Trev, man.
Scaring me, guys.
We're prepping. Listen, last episode we prepared you for the wedding, right? Now we're preparing you for having a kid because you know it's coming.
Like a life lesson right here.
This podcast has become Trev's life lessons, right?
Trev, 2 dads, 1 potential dad.
You are 24. Are you Trev or 25?
Yeah, 24.
24. Yeah, dude. It's like you still have 10 years of party.
Yeah. You got to get potty trained first, and then you get out the diapers, and then you can start living an adult life.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
So JT, how has the experience been this past year with your channel? What have been the highs, the lows? What do you learn from Polish people? What has surprised you?
Oh, dude, it's a great question. What have been the highs are obvious. The highs are just this unexpected. For example, I don't know how for you guys, you both have YouTube channels, so every week you are nervous because you don't know how people are going to react to whatever you are going to put out.
I think you're the only one that uploads every week, right?
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
It's like 2 months for me.
But you have something.
Yeah,
For sure. But every time you're going to put out a video, so you're always a little bit like, oh, how is this going to go? In my case, the highs have been obvious. All these new people coming to your channel and kind of like, because as a musician, I was a little bit like I hit breakthrough moment, because musicians are a little bit full of ourselves, in the sense that everything's around us. This is my song. This is my, listen to my. And then when I started a YouTube channel, I very quickly realized that it's not about me. It's about the viewer or whatever. If I'm going to talk about being a foreigner, I'm going to talk about. I'm always thinking how you watching me. If you are a foreigner, how would you feel? Yeah. So the fact that it has resonated with many people, it has been a surprise and like a beautiful surprise. The negatives, to be honest, I've put out some videos about Poland that I thought I was gonna be murdered on the comments or whatever. To my surprise, it didn't happen. Hasn't happened. I'm sure it's gonna come at some point. I'm gonna say something I should have, but. It's great, man. YouTube, it's a wonderful thing. I'm really happy that I did it. Especially so many people say, yeah, you're 2021, start a YouTube channel. You're too old for that. It's not gonna happen. If you do something because you like it, like you said, like your channel, Filip, Filip mówi po polsku. You want to speak about your journey, learning Polish, and then you'd be surprised how many people connect with you, because they're going through the same.
Right. I'm actually surprised that any Pole at all wants to watch me sit around for 3 or 4 minutes practicing speaking Polish. The first time I got comments or even subscribers, I'm like, why? It's what I love about Poles though. Like they're excited for you. They want to help you, and they're like, okay, we're here for you if you need us. And it's. I don't think there's very few languages or cultures where you could experience that, and I was very surprised by it at the beginning.
If you add a bottle of vodka and you are having shots regularly in your videos, everything's going to go like. Trev, how about you? Because, for example, in my case, I make videos about Poland and I really enjoy them, but it's not the only thing. I make videos related to just multiculturality in general, and some parenting, some relationship stuff. But for example, Trev, you have your channel is videos about Poland.
Like just Poland, yeah.
Yeah. So what have been your highs and lows? I'm really interested.
Lows, I would say, would be burnout. I had a burnout like last summer. I got to the point where I was just uploading all the time. And then I kind of thought to myself, like, am I uploading because I want to or like because I have to? And at that time, like I stopped uploading for like, I think 2 months. And then I came back and then, it's just something I enjoy again. I would say highs would be just getting to meet new people like yourself.
I love you, man. Go ahead.
Love you too. Yeah, definitely the connections. Like, I mean, yeah.
Well, I think that's something I've talked about in the past is I know when I'm sitting here, none of my friends who live here really have the same kind of fascination with Poland and Polish culture.
So they don't have huge stickers on their cars?
No.
Polish flag?
To the point, I think I've told you guys a few times, my wife's just like, all right, when your friends come over today, stop talking about Poland. They're sick of it. They don't want to hear about this and that and whatever, right?
That is the most Polish thing she can say.
Right, right. And so to go out and, like I said, first I commented on Trev's videos, and Trev's like, let's talk, and then I commented on JT's videos, and he's like, let's talk, and like,
you're the king commenter, right?
Right.
Dude, Phil commented on one of my last videos, and he has like 200 likes.
Yeah, he's always at the top, isn't he?
If this video does well in time, I can almost guarantee that you're gonna get more than 1,000 likes on this. And it's all because of your wife.
Right. But it's nice to know sometimes that you're not the only one that feels this way, right? Like sometimes when you're sitting around going, kind of obsessing about things, think about things all the time, and you're like, but nobody else has the same interest as you around you. You're like, well, am I the crazy one, or the people, right? Yeah. But to sit there and now, talk to you. I've been talking to you guys for a few months, or Trev for a few months, JT a little bit less, but it's like, okay, I'm not crazy. Poland is a good place. Polish people are cool people. I'm like, it's not weird to be talking about this stuff.
Like, we wouldn't have met if we didn't have channels,
Right?
No, no, not at all. Yeah, but Trev. I mean, in Trev's case, because what I've gotten to know about you guys in the last weeks that we kind of like befriended each other is that Phil, you started like uploading, literally, so you wanted to kind of like track your progress, right?
Right.
And I think it's pretty noticeable. Like if you see some of your older videos, and then you are some of the last ones, it's like, I feel so ashamed. I want to hide.
Like, I always feel.
I need to hide. This guy, stop it. Stop learning.
Yeah.
But in Trev's case, and I believe, I told you this already off camera, and I believe you, whether it's your goal or not, it's not about having subscribers just for subscribers. But I think that you are going to hit into something that is going to get your channel to explode. So I believe that. And in Trev's case, he's already he has the biggest channel of all of us. You know what I mean? This guy has
he's the big superstar here.
I remember that I went to his description, and he said, like, join the Discord or something. And it happened to be that I didn't know much about Discord. I learned rather recent, and I was like, oh, let me see. He's talking about this Discord, and I go and I see, what the heck? This guy has like more than 100 something people on Discord. It's like when you're crossing platforms, that's when you know that people connect with you.
Yeah.
Because some people will follow you on YouTube, but then when you tell them, hey, let's come over here, let's do something, they're like, Don't
worry, JT. I maybe it's an old man thing. I think when I first was like, okay, what is this Discord thing? I sent a message to Trev. I'm like, what am I supposed to do on this thing? He's like, I don't know. I'm figuring it out myself. I'm like, what is this?
Well,
it was my old man moment, Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, it's still confusing in some cases. Anyways, I appreciate the love, man.
But what do you guys do? I still don't understand. I don't have a Discord. I don't know. Do you have pictures of you just like shirtless, or
No, it's essentially like a forum, like so the community can kind of like we can all talk pretty much.
But what do you guys talk about?
There's different groups in there, right? So there's like a group of we asked everybody to post pictures of what their Renix look like in their hometowns.
That's cool.
Or there's like the general conversation. There's one where I think. Oh, just click the link in the description below.
I want to be in your Discord.
Just click the link, man. It'll join you.
I will go there, man. Can I use my Mac? Because I think I heard a while ago that it's only PC,
No, there's a Mac app. I have it on my Mac.
Yeah. And then there's a phone. There's a app on your phone too.
And we'll introduce you to Chris, and then you'll have a great time after that.
Chris is waiting for you, dude.
Who's Chris?
He's the guy who sent my picture to Sławomir and got Sławomir to comment on my videos.
Dude,
so he might hook you up with someone.
Yeah. So if you dress up like a famous Polish actor, then maybe you'll have some contact with that guy.
Hey Phil, how about if you set it up as like if you take us, your viewers, into trying to meet Słavo now when you go,
right.
Like let's make it a thing. I would love.
Let's make it happen.
Right. Hashtag Phil meets Sławomir.
I want
Yeah,
you on
where
stage.
does he live? In Warsaw? He's in
I don't
Warsaw?
know. I have no idea where he is.
Dude, let's find
Who
out.
knows?
Trev, let's get that going. But the thing is that you have to have the camera with you. You have to take us
We're
on the
gonna set
journey.
up a petition.
All right, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You're gonna be on stage with him by the end. I promise you that.
Just grab your camera. We're gonna find out where he lives. But you have to go. You have to
Right.
literally go.
I will go if Slavomir calls. I will be there.
Look at this guy. Look how American he is. If the Polish celebrity calls me, I will come.
So, JT, one question I did have for you: are you still team capture or team no capture?
Team no capture, man.
Okay, man.
Yeah,
Well, listen, I just want to show you real
capture.
quick before you get into it. I just want to show you.
Hey, man. As a matter of
I don't
fact,
get
it's a fluke. Really, it's a real fluke. But I'm wearing mine too.
There you go. Well, that's a team capture one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traitor.
Yeah, the reality is that I really don't like the idea of capture, but I admit that in the winter, I don't like being with socks only. Like this tradition of going to someone's house and you take off your shoes and then you're just with socks. It pisses me off because when you are with socks, after half an hour the socks stretch and then when you put it on the shoe they go like, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't like that. So I wanted to either take the socks off or let me have my shoes, or then I buy some Kapcie. And when I buy Kapcie, I buy the ones that look like shoes
Yeah.
so that they don't look so much like Kapcie.
Okay. Do you have guest capture in your house?
Fuck no. I'm sure Carolina has some for her parents, but I have nothing to do with that.
I have some in the house for like when the uncles come over and things like that. They're standing at the door. They take off their shoes. They're waiting for the capture.
Oh man. And you're like, well, we don't have Kapcie this time. Oh.
Well, usually what I do is I'm told my wife, I'm like, just give them mine. I'm never gonna. She's bought me 2 or 3 pairs, but I've never worn them, and I'm like, just give them a pair of mine. I'm like, I'm never gonna wear them.
So what do you wear in the winter? I mean, how do you?
I just walk around. I am not even in my house. I'm not even in socks. I'm bare. My daughter's the same way. We're like barefoot walking around the house, even in the winter.
But is it because your huge big house has like underfloor heating?
No, I don't like my feet. No, I have I don't like my feet being hot. That's it. I don't like it.
Okay.
Even now, actually, it's nice. This is one of the nice things about being out in the country now is I can just walk around in my yard barefoot, right? Not to worry about any garbage or anything sitting on the ground.
And you're
stepping
bringing
on.
all that into your house.
Yeah, country living, my friend. Country living. Don't worry.
It feels bad if you see where the Vigo is full grass and stuff.
So I'll tell you what. Next to every this is purely because of a Polish wife. Next to every door, there's a towel that either me or my daughter or the dog you have to wipe down before you come into the house. If we're not going to wear a capture, then you have to wipe your feet down before you come in the house.
Trev, do you wear capture or
team capture?
So you have
I
your.
got them on right now.
He even has the ugly ones. These
are from a show. I've had them for like 4 years now.
Well, okay, I get it. But, yeah, but okay, I get it because you are wearing. Okay, this is summer capture, right? In that case, well, I also have things like this. You know what I mean?
I wear these year round.
Okay, but I have things like that. So in that case, I am also like half team capture because I don't like being barefoot too much. But in the winter, I cannot wear the Polish capture. The ones.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like a furnace. I've put my feet in a couple times, and you all of a sudden your feet just gets hot. It's like a furnace in there. I'm like, I guess that's like it's like you said earlier about the proper laying. They know how to keep everything warm, right? They know how to not experience any cold anywhere.
Completely, man.
I don't know how they're not sweating. Especially like in the winters when they're just dressed up and they're like in the mall or grocery store and they have scarves and they're just completely covered.
Yeah.
How can you even do that?
Polish people, let us know in the comments below. Why don't you sweat?
Yeah. What's your secret?
I turn into just a sweat machine.
Exactly.
I cannot even like, for example, I don't even like sweaters like the proper sweaters that you put on the shirt and the sweater on top, because I cannot take them off. Every time I buy something for layering, it has to have a zipper or something that I can just, you know what I mean?
Scarves are another thing that my wife desperately wants me to wear, and I have no desire to wear them at all.
My girlfriend always wants.
I own lots of scarves, and she's like, "I'll show you the proper way to put them on." I'm like, I don't care.
If you don't wear it, you're gonna get sick, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I think Europeans in general really like, not only, I mean, they really believe that you need to cover your neck and your head. That's for sure. But I think they really like the fashion of the scarf.
They like, it's more the fashion of it, than the keeping warm.
And you're there being American, like, I don't need that.
As I had mentioned, I think before we started recording, my wife, she said, she's surprised about how non-American I am, but at the same time, for the past 10 years, she's trying to make me as European as she possibly can, right? I'm like, every haircut has been designed by my wife. The scarves,
really,
now like I said, we're going to Poland in 2 weeks, and so she's like, okay, you're doing shopping now, because she doesn't like the way American clothes fit me versus the European cuts, right? So I need to redo my entire. I'm basically going with an empty suitcase and then buying a bunch of stuff while we're there.
So do you have a place that you like to buy in Poland? Because Poland has amazing clothing in stores. And
I mean, so the thing I try to do is, because what I've noticed is, like, if you're buying stuff that was made outside the country, it's usually pretty expensive. But if you're buying Polish brands, I mean, I like them better, to be honest, especially shoes. I love buying Polish shoes. And they're very reasonably priced. I bought a couple of suits over there. That's the big thing, right? It's just again, this is not so much a Polish thing, but a European thing. The European cut for dress shirts is very different than American cut. Like American cut, it's like it's more form fitting, I guess, around the stomach section. First, I'm tall, I have long arms, so when I get something that goes all the way down to my wrist, usually it looks like I'm wearing a bag when I buy, in America, where over there, it's correct. Like I said, I think I made this joke to JT once, that when I'm over there, usually the saleswomen love to tell, you come out of the changing room and I hear them talking to other customers and they tell everybody that they look like Lewandowski, right? But when I came out of the dressing room, I think she just assumed that I didn't know who Lewandowski was. So she's like, "Oh, you look like James Bond." Like when I came out of my suit.
So she switched immediately to
right. That's a quick thinking salesman right there.
And you were probably thinking, "Oh, and you tell me I don't look like Suavo."
No, but definitely, I will make a trip to Sister while I'm there and pick up as many shoes as I can to wear.
How about you, Trev? How is that when it comes with fashion and?
In Poland, I haven't really bought too many pieces that are Polish.
Well, now you will. I mean, you got to pick up something, right? The wife's gonna start dressing you, so
yeah. How about you, JT?
Oh yeah, I love every time, because Karina's family is very close near Łódź, and actually very near Ptak. If you guys don't know what Ptak is, it's a very big it's like a very big outlet store.
Okay.
And they have a lot of Polish brands there, so we go there and it's like you buy so much clothes for a lot cheaper, because it's the outlet, and dude, it's It is what it is, You have to buy some clothes. You have to, But I'm toying with the idea since last year. Latinos are very colorful, like freaking yellow, right? So as the longer I live in Europe, the more I appreciate the mix of things. Like, for example, the more I understand why they were solid colors and darker colors, depending on the, like say you wear this type of stuff in the winter, it's gonna get dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Forget about whether it looks weird, because I know that for them it's about also how it looks. Like, no, but you see, it also gets dirtier. It's wet or there's snow. So now I'm toying with this idea of having making my wardrobe into having only black and white shirts. Like having an outfit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not going the Steve Jobs route completely,
right.
but just minimizing as much as I can, so that I just grab a t-shirt. Okay, there's two t-shirts that I love how they fit. I love how the quality, and I know they all feel the same.
Mhm.
Because
I
I'm a
think I
little,
only wear
I'm a
black.
little bit, yeah, I'm a little bit anal about how things fit.
Right.
You know, so if I have a
That,
t-shirt,
that that wouldn't work in my house because my wife, you need specific things for specific things for specific events, right? Oh, it's my wife's like our daughter needs new shoes. I'm like, she has like 10 pairs of shoes. Yeah, but she doesn't have shoes that you wear in the spring when it's raining, when the temperature is 75 degrees, and then she needs shoes for that occasion. I'm like, okay, what can I say to that?
on my last episode, I was wearing these are hoodies that are like older hoodies that I instead of last summer instead of just getting rid of them, I just cut them up,
Mhm.
and because here in the summer it's never really hot like per se, like 17 degrees, 18 degrees, so I can wear this. These are off, so I don't get so hot, and I made it like into a whatever urban style. Fine, so good. I have like three or four, and there's a green one that it looks pretty old already. In my opinion, it went from looking new to looking like shit, and now looks vintage. So
Yeah.
I was going out to record my last episode. I'm wearing it. It says this green thing, and on my way, she's telling me, she's literally writing to me. She said, "I think you should get rid of that thing. You should not be recording on that thing." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is my." And I even put a poll on my Instagram, which most people voted that it looked great.
Uh-huh.
So, but Polish women, they want things to look nice, neat, pressed, no
Clean.
Yeah.
wrinkles.
Yeah.
No,
My wife wants to get rid of things purely based on their age that I have. Like, she's like, you've had this shirt for like a year and a half now. That's enough.
she's sick of looking at it.
Right. So this was. I had some clothes. I had like, I don't know, like winter pants or something like that I've had for like 20 years. You know.
Yeah.
And she saw me wearing them. She said nothing about them, nothing about the quality or anything like that. But as soon as she found out how old they were, she's like, they need to go. They're out of here, right? She's constantly trawling through all my clothes, trying to figure out which ones she can turn into like dish rags and cleaning these things.
Oh
It was like a
man,
no look on when you bought it. And
Yeah. But the one thing I had to buy clothes wise when I first went to Poland, I went to a wedding, I went to another wedding, was that look of the blue suit, the white shirt, the black tie, and the
it was a clean
brown
look.
the brown shoes, right? I'm like, I saw like that's a very popular thing for Polish people to wear to weddings, and I'm like, I need that look. And so I bought that complete suit and shirt and everything like that in Poland. And so I have like 3 or 4 American suits, but then I have this one Polish suit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like because I like the way how it fits and how comfortable it is compared to my American suits, I ended up wearing it to places that like, I need to wear a suit to this event, but it's like a little too bright to be appropriate. Like I wore it to like a funeral once, and I'm like, I should probably be wearing my black American suits right now. But I'm like, maybe next time when I go to Poland, I get a black suit, and then I can wear a black suit to a funeral.
They give him a call. Hey, listen, Phil, we have to go to this funeral. Someone in the company died. That's right. Suit out on me now.
So when are we all making that Disco Polo song?
Which one do you want to make? Which one do you want to make?
Wearing colorful suits.
I'm telling you, man. JT's already got the leg up on us, right? He made his Yes Shalona cover.
Yeah.
He got the guy Marcin to comment on his video.
Yeah, well, that was a surprise. The guy was there, commenting. Yeah, because a big part of what I wanted to do with the channel was, kind of like when I decided with the channel, what is it going to be about? I was like, okay, it has to kind of like be a little bit of a reflection of who I am. So my life is mostly multicultural things, right? You have these different cultures colliding. Then, of course, some parenting, some relationship stuff. And obviously, I'm married, but what I mean with the relationship, I've always been interested in the topic of relationships, dynamics and stuff like that. Because I think that a relationship, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, a wife, and whatever, it takes a lot of work. It takes a huge amount of work. But I always tell my wife that even though it's a monumental amount of work, it should feel extremely easy.
Mm-hmm.
So you do put a lot of work into it, but at the end of the day, someone asks you, "Hey, how do you feel with your wife?" It should immediately feel like, great. So anyhow, I was also thinking, well, I'm a musician, so I should maybe do something. I don't know what, because I don't want to force, like, listen, I have this single out, maybe you should listen to it. That sounds forced. And then one day, I really like this song. I've danced to this song so much, and I said to Carolina, I'm gonna make a cover of that song, and and it's on a YouTube channel, so it has to come out like in a video format.
Right.
So originally, I was gonna record a music video, and it was all planned. It was the middle of pandemic, by the way. In the UK, you could not be outside more than half an hour or 40 minutes to exercise. So I was like, okay, I sat down, I planned my shots. I did, okay, on this one, I'm going to be sitting on the car, literally like Tarantino type, sitting on the car. The angle is going to be from the left because this is my good angle. And, and I'm like, okay, great. So I take my tripod and I take my camera. I will never forget it. And I knew that I wanted to wear a suit. Why? I thought it was going to be funny, like this guy, like Disco Polo with a suit. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I go out, dude, and it was so windy, so cold, like it was impossible
It
to
looks
record.
warm in that video.
No, hold on, that's not the video.
Okay.
I come back after like half an hour trying, extremely mad, and at the same time, it had been it was a little bit like cloudy throughout those days, which, if you guys know, cloudy is great to record because you don't have light coming from your place.
Right, it's not like this harsh exposure and stuff.
Yeah, so that day decided that it was going to be the sunniest day. And when I record that, I don't have too much time. I cannot say, I cannot do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. You have parenting, you have work, blah, blah, blah. And I got so pissed. I was extremely pissed. I told Carolina, like, I was furious. I cannot record this shit, da, da, da. And then I said, I'm going to try tomorrow. And then the next day, and also the police was circling around, and I was afraid that they're going to tell me, go fucking home. You know what I mean? Or you do it outside with a camera. And then the next day, I remember a park that is nearby, and it's like an enclosed park. And I was thinking, okay, the police is not going to bother me there. Let me just go and take the camera and see what I can do. And that day was cold as fuck and cloudy. And I went there by myself and recorded the first part of the video, no problem. So the first part is perfect. Second part of the video, slowly, as this was like 8 in the morning. So by now it's like 10:30. Moms start coming in with their kids. And I'm there on a swing with a camera, singing Yes to Shalona. And they're looking at me like, what is that? And then I had to finish the whole video by literally people surrounded, looking at.
Oh, really? So there were people right there watching.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Really?
There was one that I
feel?
caught her recording me. There was one that I caught her doing this. Think of the ridiculousness. I'm this guy on a suit on a playground with a camera.
Dominican Republicans, singing, mouthing the Polish words.
Yeah, exactly. Mouthing because I'm not, I had the phone with the music playing on my pocket here so that I could hear it. But it was not like a big speaker, blasting like they do in music videos. It was so bizarre. It was actually uncomfortable.
And you're trying to convince me to go outside more when I'm recording my videos?
You really should. You haven't lived. If you've not gone out with your camera, recording and all the stairs, it's you should do it.
Yeah. So
all right, JT, thanks for coming on, man.
Bardzo dziękuję, ludzie. No, super.
We gotta get you on again.
Dobrze.
And in the comments, let us know what you think. JT being on our podcast, so we have him on again. Definitely go check out his channel, Vigo's Dad. Definitely. You're on what, YouTube and Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram is, to be honest, Instagram is just for fun, like to put some pictures. Like, I don't try to grow Instagram. I don't put hashtags or nothing. It's even private, so, but if you try to follow me, I'll accept you. So yeah, the main thing is YouTube.
Nice.
We'll link that down below.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, thanks again. Greetings to your wife and kid. We look forward to seeing them in a video again pretty soon. I think some of your last few videos have been only you. We look forward to them coming back again.
Yeah. I know. It's because she's working, so we have to try to find a way that she can do it. But we're going on holidays to DR, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna have at least 2 episodes. That the format is gonna be completely different because it's not gonna be like a proper episode. It's gonna be more like a vlog, follow the life of.
Nice. Probably at the same time, I'm going to be doing my vlogs from Poland. I guess I'll do a couple of vlogs from Poland.
Oh man, I'm really looking forward to those.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
excited about that.
We have to get you to meet Suavo, like
Suavo.
Trev, Trev.
Yeah.
We have to talk
We're
about
making it happen.
We're making it happen.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can
All
do a
right, guys.
podcast with Suavo. Oh,
Oh, there you go. No,
That's an idea.
the ideas are just exploding now. All right, Trev, take us home.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.